Hello, you guys. My name is Shantale, and this is Made by Shantale TV. Thank you guys for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe because this is a new channel for me. I've been working on it for a year now, and it really helps the algorithm to let people know that this is some information that you want to hear. So today we are diving in the finance section of my channel. So if you're new here, which I'm sure a lot of you are, Made by Shantale TV is centered around finance, travel, and entrepreneurship. So those are the things that I'm going to be sharing here on my channel. So let's dive into this first topic, which is my 825 credit score and how you can get there too. I'm going to be sharing some tips that are very practical, very easy, and all you just need to do is stick to the plan, do some tracking, and follow up and follow through. So let's get into the first tip. But before that, let's get the background as to why I started this journey about increasing and bettering my credit score. So in the beginning, I got my first credit card. I honestly was a little bit scared. So my first credit card was a Maurice's credit card. This credit card, what I would do, so if anybody knows, you get benefits, you get perks and points, and it adds up to getting like like a $5 off your next purchase type deal, right? Everybody has that card, right? That you get for the perks. You like a favorite store. So this is what I was doing. I got my first credit card, and because of my fear of credit and all the horror stories that you hear about credit cards are not good, I had my first credit card. All I wanted was the benefits of the credit card, which is a smart tip to whatever credit card that you get. Make sure there is some benefit to it. So let's continue. So that was the reason why I got this credit card. What I would do, I would go to Maurice's, buy my items, and anybody who's been following me on Facebook, y'all know I would have this long receipt of all this. Actually, this is Maurice's, what I have on, this blazer. But I would have a whole list of things that I bought from Maurice's for so cheap, and that's why I like that store. But anyways, you get even better perks when you get like an extra 10% off every single purchase, okay? And then on top of some other benefits that I've had through my job, I would combine the two and be walking out looking like, oh, I just robbed this place. So I am that type of shopper. I love looking for deals. I love looking for a bargain. That's just how I grew up. We would literally go to the mall and just look. And if we find a deal, we're getting it. Okay, so that's just how I grew up, and I love looking for a deal. So that's how I shop. So when I got that credit card, I did the math. I was like, okay, I get my job benefits and I get this credit card benefits. Oh yes, I'm saving some money. And that I did do every single time I went to Maurice's. So that was my first credit card experience. But what I did not know at the time is when I was purchasing, I would immediately pay it off. So this is one thing you should not do. And this is something that I learned through my credit history and building up my credit score. Do not pay off that credit card until you actually get a bill. So I would make a purchase for like $30, $50, whatever in the store, and then immediately ask them to pay that off immediately. So what I didn't realize is that it never created a bill. Therefore, it never helped my credit score. And I'm thinking I'm doing something really great, and I'm not doing any benefit other than just getting a great deal, right? You get an extra 10% off, okay? But at that time, I could have not only gotten a great deal, but I could have also been increasing my credit score. But because of my fear, I wanted to go ahead and pay it off, and I didn't want to run the risk of missing a payment and being charged interest, okay? So this goes into my first tip in being pay your bills on time. Emphasis on time. because not a day late, not 5 days later, but on time, or even if you want to be excellent, a day before. But who wants to do that? So therefore, I put all my bills, including my credit cards, on auto pay. So with a credit card, the benefit of a credit card, you already know how much you're spending, or you should know how much you're spending. So there's always a limit for me on how much I'm spending on each and every credit card. To date, I have about 8 credit cards. That's something that you can work up to. And I'm going to show you how to do that later in the video. So, 1, pay your bills on time, okay? This makes up about 35% of your credit history. Your payment history is 35% of your credit score. So this shows your responsibility, and it just shows the lender, meaning your credit card company, that you can pay things off. Therefore, you're trustworthy. You're somebody that I can give more money to because I know I'm going to get it back. And that's all they want. They want their money back. And if you don't want to give it back on time, they're going to charge you interest. And anybody knows, whether a friend, a family member, whomever, they'll say, can you lend me $300? And you are thinking, as the one who is lending in this scenario, you will be the one who is lending. And so you give them the $300 and they say, oh, I'm gonna give it back to you next week. Next week rolls around and you're like, where's my $300? Okay, so I'm sure a lot of people have been there because maybe it was $300 that you needed to go towards something that you need, but you're helping someone else and you're like, okay, you told me you was going to give this back to me on Monday. It's Monday and I have not my $300. Where's the $300 now? I'm in need. Okay, so this is the same exact way we should be treating our banks and our credit cards, because if you are unable to pay, okay, if you are unable to pay back the amount that you put on your credit card, then you are messing up their flow, okay, of how they're running their business. Therefore, you will be charged a penalty, which is interest, okay? Not only that, you're going to be charged a late fee and interest, which that is a double whammy. That's something I do not play with. I've had a couple of times that I have been charged a late fee or interest. The first time was with my first credit card. And after that, I said, oh no, I ain't doing that no more. So I learned, okay, I need to pay this before the due date. So pay your bills on time. This makes up 35% of your score. It's important. The principle that I apply to my life, which I'm a Christian, and one thing I would hear all the time is the borrower is a slave to the lender. This is the reason why I paid off my student loans. This is the reason why I pay back any bill that I accrue on credit cards and anything else, because I didn't want to be a slave to anyone or anything, anyone but Christ, okay? And neither do you. You do not want to be in a position where you feel like a slave and you have some chains on your back. And that's how I felt when I had my over $50,000 of student loans. I paid over, I think it was about $56,000 that I paid off within 5 years by doing a few things that I can share with you guys in another video. But this one is strictly about the credit score. So I'm gonna stay on topic. So pay your bills on time. Number 2, I kept my credit utilization below 10%. This is how you're going to get to the 800 mark, okay? Currently, my credit utilization is at 1%. And you may wonder, how did you do that? Well, this is going to go into the third tip, but let me finish up this one. So even though it is good to only use 30% of a credit card, you go a little bit above and beyond in order to get your 800 credit score, okay? So if you have $1,000 in credit limit on one card, make purchases of $300 or less. $300 or less use on that credit card in order to stay good. Now, if you want better, it needs to be 20%, okay? And you want best, That's 10% usage of that $1,000 credit limit. So if you want to skyrocket your way to 800, you need to use only 10% or less on that credit card. Listen. This is a big one. So it don't even matter what your credit limit is. If you can stay below 10% or 10% and below, I would just buy a stick of gum. If you feel like, listen, I'm not there yet, but I want to build my credit, go buy a stick of gum. Let it create a bill. You pay that $3 off, however much the gum was, right? On auto pay. Listen, if you are somebody who wants to grow your credit score and you are afraid of the interest part, get it. Charge about $5 on that thing and put that on auto pay from your bank. You can afford that. Whatever you can actually afford, do not charge more than what you can afford and pay back. That's just that, period. But 10% or less, we're trying to get to 8, okay? We're trying to make money moves. So that is what I did for number 2. Number 3, increase your credit limit every year, but never use all of your credit limit. Just saying, going off with number 2. If you go from 1,000 to 1,500, now you continue to use that $300. So now your utilization is 20%. And if you want to go lower, that's even better. But the utilization is just a percentage of what you have available. And so when you are asking for credit limits, it broadens your pot of money, if you will. So how I got to 1%, like I said, every year I'm asking for more money on that card. However, I'm not using all of that money. I'm using the same percentage, which is 10%, that I used previous. Okay. But at this point, I have about 8 credit cards. So I spread my bills out across each credit card. And because I have so many credit cards, I'm like, okay, I have to remind myself to put a bill on that. You know, you may have a Netflix account that you know you can pay that $17.99, whatever. Put it on that card. Let that be on auto pay. If you're already paying something in your banking account and you don't ever have to think about that thing, it's coming out, put it on a credit card and allow that to be on auto pay. Some things that the bills that are most predictable for you, put those on auto pay with a credit card. Okay. And it's going to help you. But make sure it's always less than 30% utilization on that card. Number 4, mixing my credit accounts. So not only do I have credit cards, I have a mortgage. Right now, I live in DC, but I have a home in Alabama. Well, I'm still paying for that mortgage in Alabama while I'm also paying for my apartment here in DC. So it's still working in my favor when it comes to building my credit. Make sure you're paying your bills on time. And another thing, when you have a great credit score, you are privileged, if you will. You have privilege when you're going into getting a credit card, getting a car loan, because you don't pay the same amount as someone who has a 650 credit score. Okay? When you have 850, 820, you're paying less. That is the rule, and that's where you want to be. You want to pay less. Paying more is not a flex to me. You know, I don't look in admiration for somebody who is paying more for the same thing that I pay less for. I'm looking at you like you're not that smart. Okay? So you want to get to the place where you're paying less for the same thing, same quality, same value as somebody else. So that is the privilege of having a great credit score. You get lower interest rates on your home loans. You get lower interest rates on loans in general. Okay. Whether you're getting a car, whatever it is, your interest rates are going to be based off of your credit score. And that is the whole reason why getting your credit score is so important, because you're saving money. Who doesn't want to save money? Raise your hand. I'm not raising. But so I've gotten a 2.9%. You know those percentages that Toyota will throw out there at you. But if you don't have a great credit score, I remember I walked into Toyota and I bought my first car by myself. I've had a car before, but I bought my first car, and honey, I did so much research before buying that car. They thought I was an engineer, okay? Because I was asking the price down. I was, listen, I'm not paying more for something out of ignorance. That is the worst feeling ever. So, yes, I got a 2.9% interest rate on my first vehicle. And that's where I want you guys to be, because they will advertise these things. But if you are not set up properly and have the right credit score to get that advertised interest rate, say some of them may have 0%. That's my next goal, is to buy me a vehicle where I can get 0% interest on it. Okay, because of my great credit score. Those are the rewards that you get for being diligent, okay, about what God has given you. And so that leads me to another principle, which is Proverbs 21:5. It says, the plans of the diligent lead to profit. So if we are diligent about the blessings that God allows us to have, it will be profitable. And it's profitable because that's less money coming out of your pocket. Who don't want that? So it's all about action, and we must take action and take ownership of our own lives. So after getting your credit, your mixed credit, so you got a credit card, you have a car, everybody got to get around. So you already more than likely have mixed credit. If you want to add a home to that, that's cool too. But make sure your credit score is phenomenal. It's going to matter. And it's going to make a great difference. Number 5, I never close old credit cards. I remember, like I said, I got so many credit cards, I forget about them sometimes. And that just happens. And it is what it is. But one day I was shopping with my mom in Macy's, didn't realize that a whole maybe 2 years had passed since I actually used the card. I'm thinking I'm about to go in there because they had a sale. I'm about to use my benefits of my Macy's. Nope. I had to reapply. I didn't care at that moment because I was getting a higher limit based off my credit score, right? So when you have a great credit score, you get higher limits on your credit card. You get higher limits on your credit card. So before, I probably had $1,000 at that time, right? But then I applied again in the store and I got 10,000. Okay. So this is how you're going to get to that 1%. Because who's using $10,000 in Macy's unless they're buying furniture? And even if you do have 10,000 worth that you may need, you surely should not buy it all at once from Macy's or any other place that you may have a card for. I have a Best Buy card, I have a Macy's card, I have Visas, Masters, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to spread it out, diversify it all out, because that's how it works best for you. So I'm not ever going to use $10,000 on one credit card. And that's how you get to 1%. Every year, you're asking for a higher limit, of utilization, even though you're not going to use it, and you're constantly building. So most people have about 2 to 3 credit cards. If you don't, you can work your way up to it. What I would say is do a credit card a year. If this is the new year for you and you didn't get a new credit card last year, get you a new one this year. Okay? Make sure it's a great one. Perks, benefits, cash back, whatever, points, however you like it, that makes it worth the while, do that. And that's how I look at credit cards, because when it comes to a debit card, if somebody steals some money from you, it's going to take a long time to get that money back. With a credit card, if somebody does some fraudulent things on your credit card, all you got to do, call the credit card company or do a dispute on the app. Okay? Simple, easy peasy. They're going to do the investigation, obviously, but most of the time, 9 times out of 10, that credit is going to be back onto your account. Now, when it comes to a debit card, that is not the case. Honey, you're going to do all the hoops and you're going to be jumping through all the hoops and loops that there are, because, that's real liquid cash. So those are the reasons why I like credit cards over debit cards. And I hope that this was informative and informational for you. And I hope that you've written down these tips, because this is what is going to get you to the 800 credit score. Okay? So if you have any comments, put them down below. If I missed something, if you feel like I need to do another video on something in particular, put it down below. But I'm here. I'm open to share everything that I know. And that's why I created this channel, because I know that people are going through it. They are looking for these credit repair companies that is, honestly, in my opinion, it's not worth the while, because at the end of the day, if you don't know these principles and you have not put them into practice, you're going to find yourself right back in that place where you have to pay them to do what all you had to do is learn to do. And you do not want to be in that position. So when it comes to not being able to meet a medical bill or having something going into collection, you can handle that yourself. There is no problem in you calling that hospital and letting them know, hey, I'm unable to make these payments. Can you set up a payment plan for me? They have programs for that. All you have to do is ask, and you can stretch that thing out as long, far, and wide. Take advantage of it, because that's what I would do, and that's what I have done. Hey, so what? I got the money in the bank. And shawty, what you think? And I can pay it right then and there. But hey, what if I don't want to? Maybe I want to buy me some new shoes instead. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I want to buy a new blazer this month, but I can stretch these payments out for as long as I want to. Now, granted, I would do that. I would get so tired of making payments. I do not like it. But if you set it up on auto pay, it's just automatic. However, just keep track of everything and make sure that you know how much you're supposed to be paying. And that's all. When it comes to collections and you wanted to buy a home, like, all you have to do is call that collection office and say, hey, I paid this off. I need this removed from my account. I need this removed from my credit record. And they will do it. I've done it. I did it before I bought my house, because I didn't want that showing up on my credit record. Okay. So these are things. If you all need anything, comment below. This is simply information that I'm sharing to you. I'm not an advisor. I'm not any of that. This is just from one sister to a brother, one sister to a mother, one sister to another. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, do your own research. But at the end of the day, none of these tips in my opinion, have failed me. Okay, so this has gotten me where I am. And if you are looking to get in business, this will also be helpful when you are going to get a business credit card, which is something I'm going to be talking about pretty soon because I have my business credit card. I had to order a new one because I don't know where the other one went. And I just had to order a new one. But anyways, when it comes to any of your cards, one tip I would definitely throw out there is put that card on lock. If you have a banking app, the credit card app, most of these cards have a block on them. And I know sometimes you may feel some kind of way if your card gets declined, but at the end of the day, you can remind yourself, oh, okay, I got this on block or I got this locked or if you don't have discipline, if you have not stored up that discipline yet, that's a great tip right there. If you have not stored up that discipline to only spend 30% or less, that is the best way. If your card has a lock or a block on it, use it. Use it. And that way you don't have to ever think about it. Be like, okay, yep, don't have enough money no more. You know what I'm saying? Even though you have maybe 1,500 on there, and you, like I said, going back to that 30% or 20%, lock it. Once it's getting close to that and you feel like you are not able to remember or whatever, you get amnesia, whatever it is, go ahead and lock that card up so you are safe and so is your credit score. Okay, that's all that I have for you guys tonight. I hope that the sound is good. I hope the lights were good. This is my new setup, and I'm hoping to take it back to Alabama once I move back. But this is my new hair. I know y'all seen the locks. Since the last time I was on, I had locks, but then I combed them out and all the stuff like that. But that's all I have for y'all tonight. And yeah, just let me know what you need. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Bye.